In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to unlock all 15 relics inside of Black Ops 7 Zombies right now, inside of Ashes of the Damned and Astra Malorum. All of them have been solved now, as well as we've gotten some clarity on a few of the previous ones with correct steps, because some of them were a bit inaccurate before, and we have the complete steps now. Now, if you need any friends to unlock these relics with, drop your Activision IDs in the comment section down below, and good luck, because some of them are very difficult. Let's begin. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to unlock all 9 of the relics and Ashes of the Damned. So the first thing you need to do is you need to complete the Ashes of the Damned main quest. You can do this in standard mode, in curse mode, or even in directed mode, it doesn't matter. Previously, you would have to then continue your match after defeating Vatharion and interact with the tablet to activate relics in cursed. However, as of Astra Malorum releasing, you no longer have to, you just have to complete the main quest first. And these are map specific, so if you want to unlock any of the Ashes of the Damned relics, you first need to do the Ashes of the Damned quest. If you want to unlock any of the Astra Malorum relics, you first need to do the Astra Malorum quest in any of the modes likewise. Regardless of what map you unlock the relics on, they will be usable on every single map that comes out in the future as well. With that said, let's jump into the 9 cursed relics for Ashes of the Damned. And how the relics are going to work is they're going to apply different modifiers to your game, and the more relics you have applied will get you through the different tiers of difficulty of your game, tier 1, 2, and 3, which can get you various different rewards. If you get to tier 1, you get golden armor, tier 2, ultra weapon rarity, tier 3, pack-a-punch, tier 4. Now, all of these Ashes of the Damned tutorials were made before Astra Malorum was out, but obviously now to get to the different tiers, you can do some of the Astra Malorum relics as opposed to some of the Ashes of the Damned ones. So you can do these in any particular order at your own discretion, so you need to be playing in Cursed to unlock all of these. But the first Grim relic that I'm going to be showing you is how to unlock the Lawyer's Pen. This is from Nero's Ritual from Shadows of Evil. Anyways, let's show you how you get the Lawyer's Pen itself. So in order to do this, you obviously need to boot up a game of Cursed, and you need to make your way over to round 20. And there are going to be 3 different candles that you need to light up on the map, and these can be activated if you have the Napalm Burst ammo mod on your weapon, or by throwing a Molotov at them. You need to set them on fire. You can do these in any particular order. The first one can be found if you head into Ashwood and come into the Ruby Rabbit. It's right over here in the corner underneath the staircase, so go ahead and light that one up there. You can also just check and look if the candle's lit up afterwards, just in case you accidentally miss it for whatever reason. Now, the next one can be found if you head between Ashwood over to Blackwater Lake within the tunnel. You want to come over here to the Lost Cabins, and on this little drawer in between the sofa and the wardrobe is the next candle that you are able to light up, so go ahead and do that one there. Third and finally, you want to head over to Van Dorn Farm and make your way into the house onto the top floor, and right next to the bed you will find the third candle that you were able to light up. This will now allow you to begin a relic trial from this portal that you can see right here. And whilst you can light the candles in any order, obviously this one in the farm is best kept for last, considering this is going to be where the portal activates. This will then initiate a vote if you are in a multiplayer game to make sure you are all ready, and you need to be prepared for this, so make sure you have good perks, weapons, etc., because you will teleport through a green portal. Then the game's going to apply a green filter on your game for the Grim Trial, where all of the zombies are going to be shock mimics, and you are going to face 4 waves of these shock mimics only with no regular zombies. And you can see that there will be a bar showing you how many kills you have remaining to keep track of. So yeah, if you're all equipped to go into this, you shouldn't really have too much trouble, but it will get increasingly harder as you go further through the rounds. If you're in a multiplayer game, this is going to be a lot easier. After you have defeated all of the shock mimics, you will then teleport out of this challenge, and the trial will then be complete. Now, from the menu of Curse, you are then able to apply this relic to your game. This relic will make it so that mimic props will infiltrate the map. Mimics will be disguised as prop/environmental objects in your game. Obviously, they regularly do not spawn in on the map, so it will provide a bit of extra challenge. An annoying one at that. Secondly, the next Grim relic that I'm going to be showing you how to unlock is the Dragon Wings. These are of course from Gorod Krovi, so in order to get this you need to head into a cursed game and you need to make your way over to round 20. So from round 20 onwards, if you head to the jump pad in Vandon Farm, have it to launch you over to the Janus Towers, and you will now see that there are 3 purple symbols that show up as you are being launched, and essentially you need to shoot all 3 of them whilst you are within the air. It shouldn't be too difficult to do, but if you miss one you can just try again, after which if you then head back to the Vandon Farm you will now see that there is a portal to start the relic trial. So interact with it and this will begin a vote if you are within a multiplayer game, so that you can all be prepared to start the challenge. So make sure you all have good weapons, perks, etc., you know the drill, so that you're able to complete it. Essentially this will start a trial where power-ups will cause damage when touched, so loads of power-ups will begin spawning as you are killing the zombies. However, do not grab them, as like I said, they will damage you. I know how tempting it can be because they're so shiny and you are not trained to want to avoid them, so just be careful. Kill the zombies from a distance, not close to you, so you don't accidentally interact with them. So you are going to have to survive 4 waves, and there will be a kills remaining bar as well that you can keep track of. Bear in mind there is an ammo cache you can use during this, of course. Now all of the waves are going to be a mixture of regular zombies, but as you progress there will be more special zombies spawning in. You'll have doppelgas, etc. hoarding you, and when you make your way over to wave 4 there will be a load of HVTs that will spawn in on the map that you will need to defeat. That shouldn't be too challenging. Obviously it's going to be much easier if you are within a multiplayer game, so I'd recommend to do that, and that way you can all get it as well. You can help some friends out. After you have defeated all 4 of the waves you will then teleport out of the challenge and you will have unlocked the dragon wings. Now if you go over to the menu of curse you can apply the dragon wings relic onto your game, and this will disable normal power-ups, so regular power-ups will not be spawning in your game. However, power-ups from the TED tasks or from side Easter eggs for free perks, for example, will still be spawning in. And Ravager rounds will not even give you max ammos in these, so the only power-ups that you're able to get are from the TED tasks, or from side Easter eggs like the free perks, or from using gobblegums, but just not the regular power-ups that spawn in just from regularly killing the zombies. So this is going to provide a much harder challenge to your game. Thirdly, the last grim relic I'm going to be showing you how to unlock is Samantha's teddy bear. Now, in order to get the teddy bear, there are 10 different Mr. Peaks around the map, and you can activate these in any particular order apart from one of them, which I'll come on to last. And for all of these you must have Ether Shroud on, and you need to activate Ether Shroud to be able to unlock them, and you also must have the Necrofluid Gauntlet Wonder Weapon. If you don't know how to get that, there's a link to a guide in the description. The Mr. Peaks will only show up whilst in Ether Shroud, so this first one can be located at Blackwater Lake in this cabin, just in this toilet here, and you need to shoot it with your Necrofluid Gauntlet and then reel it back in. Again in Blackwater Lake we have one in Lost Cabins, which you can find just over here above this log pile cabin. Shoot that one and reel it back in. The next one can be found within the grounded ship just over here, so go ahead and shoot that and collect that one there. The next one is located within Vandon Farm, which you can find up atop this silo here, so shoot that with the gauntlet and reel it back in. The next one can be found within support systems just on top of this box, so shoot that and reel it back in. Moving over we have one in Ashwood just above this broken up roof, so shoot that and reel it back in. This next one could be again found in Ashwood, and this time it's within the Ruby Rabbit just at the back over here, so again shoot that and reel it back in. Furthermore, we have one in the Spawn the Janus Towers Plaza. You can find this just up on the entrance, so shoot that and reel it back in. There's another one located here in Zarya Cosmodrome up atop this electricity pylon, so go ahead and shoot that and reel it back in. Your teammates can do this by the way as well. Now finally, this is the one that you are probably going to do last, as it only spawns in on round 20 plus, so make your way over to round 20 plus and it's within exit 115 just all the way up here atop the sign, so go ahead and shoot that with your gauntlet and reel it back in. So yes, this is locked at round 20 plus, but you can do the rest ahead of time, so it would be recommended to do this one last. Now head over to Vandon Farm and there's a green portal, so go ahead and interact with it to initiate the relic trial. It'll begin a vote if you're in a multiplayer match, after which you are going to have to survive 4 waves, so make sure you are prepared with as many perks and good weapons as possible. And for this trial, every weapon shot will cost 100 essence. And this is a really difficult trial because if you run out of your essence entirely, you will start taking damage and inevitably die. So before going into this trial, you want to have a shit ton of points stacked up. You can use profit sharing, you can crush a load of unused gobblegums, and try and be prepared to be able to survive, but maybe not over prepared, as in you've spent all of your points, so you have a decent amount stacked up, and you need to obviously probably try and have enough essence as well during the actual trial to be able to stack up on ammo. It's probably recommended to use a shotgun as well and not be using fully automatic weapons where you're just going to be draining your points a lot quicker. And you can also activate the trap doing this trial as well that allows you to complete it easier, and you can use all the gobblegums as well that help you with points or completing the TED tasks to again stack up on points or the side Easter eggs. But yeah, you pretty much just need to survive through all of the waves. It's not really anything too challenging. Just make your way through the waves. You'll have to fight different doppelgangers, etc. Then on the final wave, you will have to kill all of the HVTs. There's going to be regular zombies among them though, but just focus on the HVTs. After you kill all of them, you will teleport back onto the map and the trial will be complete. Every weapon shot costs 100 essence. You will now have the teddy bear. This can then be applied onto your match, which what it does is the round start delay is cut down by 75%, so there's not going to be a wait period, so it's just going to be mostly non-stop action, not necessarily making it too challenging, but there is less of that cooldown. So after you have successfully unlocked all 3 of the Grim Relics, you are able to apply them to your match, which obviously have the different modifiers applied, but this will also then make your game tier 1 difficulty, which means in your match you will have now unlocked golden armor that is going to help you out, and this will cost a grand total of 45,000 essence, absolutely insane, and it's available at any of the armor war buys. After you have purchased the prior 3 tiers of armor, it will then be gold. Just like in Modern Warfare Zombies or the Tomb, it will make it so that your armor is now orange and it will auto repair your armor, but you are still able to manually plate as well to speed things up. Combined with the turtle shell augment for Vulture, this is awesome. So once you are playing within a tier 1 cursed game, you are then able to unlock the Sinister Relics. Now bear in mind, whilst you can make your game tier 1 by applying the first 3 Grim Relics, of course if you unlock other future ones you can make it a tier 1 game with them, but this is the only way to do it if you don't have any future ones unlocked. So the first Sinister Relic I'm going to show you how to unlock is the Vril Sphere, which is the egg from the Moon Easter egg. So first of all, in order to do this you need to be playing on tier 1 in Cursed. This doesn't work in just regular Cursed, so this means you need to have the first 3 relics unlocked. So once you are within a tier 1 match, in order to get the Vril Sphere relic, you need to get doppelgangers to spawn in, but they only spawn in a tier 1 match on round 40 plus. So first of all, you need to make your way over to round 40, and once one spawns in, you need to head over to a jump pad and lure the doppelganger onto the jump pad, and you need to fling up whilst it's on it, which will actually kill the doppelganger. You'll hear Mr. Peaks laugh if you do it correctly, after which you want to head over to the Zarya Cosmodrome, and this is going to be where the relic portal is going to spawn in. It's going to be yellow instead of green like the tier 1 ones. After you interact with it, it will initiate the trial, beginning a vote if you're in a multiplayer game, and then it will portal you into the challenge. And what this is going to do is disable all purchases in your game, so you need to make sure you are prepared for this. I mean, you should be if you're on round 40 plus obviously, but this means you are going to have enough ammunition because you won't be able to buy an ammo crate or anything like that. And this really does remind me of classic Ascension. Even the yellow atmosphere, the filter that they have on your game just really reminds me of Ascension. It's really, really cool. So you are going to have 5 different waves to complete, so you need to be careful about this. It's definitely recommended to have all the perks, especially Vulture, so you can be collecting more drops, helping out with ammo especially. So make your way through all of the hordes. There's going to be an absolute ton of zombies to spawn in. The filter also makes their eyes look red. I don't know if they're actually red or if it's just because of the filter, and there will be elites, etc. that will spawn in as well. On the very final wave, round 5, you will have HVTs that you need to kill, but there's going to be a load of regular zombies as well, but you can try and focus on the HVTs, and after you have managed to defeat all of the HVTs, that will be the relic unlocked, and you are then able to equip it to future games. And what this does is it will put a 4 perk limit on your game, just like in classic zombies. Now, you are still able to use a perkaholic in this mode to get all of the perks, completely defeating the point of it, and probably a way to just entice people to buy microtransactions. Now, if you try and get an additional perk or or from a random perk power-up, it'll instead replace your oldest perk instead of adding to it, unfortunately. However, the Fountain Drink Easter egg at exit 115, where you can either get a free Juggernog, a free Quick Revive, a free Speed Cola, or a free Stamina Up, still works, so you can get a perk that way, but the other side Easter eggs to get a free perk do not work, and like I say, we'll just replace that perk. You can also glitch the 4 perk limit during the relic trial when other relic modifiers get disabled. So yeah, all of the other side Easter eggs do not work. There are other ways to bypass this or glitch this. I've seen various different people posting, but this is basically the gist of how it works. I'm not sure if the free soda dispenser Easter egg giving you an additional perk is a mistake or not, and it's just potentially a bug considering that other Easter eggs do not give you an additional one, so it may potentially get patched in the future, but it works right now. So it's not even really like classic zombies. I do think that the side Easter eggs should allow you to get more additional perks. The second Sinister relic that I'm going to show you how to unlock is Samantha's drawing of the Keepers visiting her in her sleep from the Eisendrache. You need to have unlocked some relics in the game to be able to be playing in a bare minimum of a tier 1 or higher match. You can use various different relic combinations to do this. Of course, now there's some for Astra. So jumping into the game, you can begin the relic process straight away. However, the final step will require you to get to round 40 plus, because as you know, the Chompy bin is found on various different points around the map where you can feed it your weapon or different equipment. It can be found in Vandon Farm, Exit 115's Diner, Blackwater Lake, the Janus Towers Plaza, in Spawn, and the Zarya Cosmodrome. And what you are going to have to do is you need to feed Chompy every single weapon rarity from the lowest rarity to the highest, including the Wonder Weapon rarity. And it needs to be done in that precise order. And it has to be weapons only. You cannot feed it with equipment or grenades, etc. So make sure you do it in the exact order. So first of all, you need to feed Chompy a grey weapon rarity, the default loadout weapon when you spawn into your game. Then once you progress in your game and get a green weapon rarity, again feed that to Chompy. Likewise, keep progressing in your game and get a blue rarity weapon and then feed it to Chompy once more. Fourthly, now you need to get a purple weapon rarity and again feed it to Chompy. Penultimately, the last one you can do before round 40 is orange weapon rarity, the highest one you can get for your normal weapons. So yeah, it's going to take a lot of salvage, a lot of grinding in your game, or getting them as rewards from the trials, etc., or just the side Easter eggs, or whatever the case may be, and then feed it to Chompy. Now you need to be on round 40 plus and you need to feed it a yellow weapon rarity weapon, which is of course the rarity that is only for the wonder weapons. So you need to have a ray gun or the ray gun Mark II. Unfortunately, the Necrofluid Gauntlet does not let you feed it to Chompy, but there are side Easter eggs on the map where you can get a free ray gun, and there's one where you can specifically get a free ray gun Mark II, although it's a bit tedious. It is linked in the description or on screen. Now I am hearing some reports from some people that say you don't need to feed it an orange weapon rarity weapon, and you just need to feed it up to purple and then skip to yellow wonder weapon rarity for the ray gun or ray gun Mark II on round 40 plus, but I cannot confirm exactly if that is true. It would be a bit weird to just skip one of the rarities, unless the orange weapon rarity or the yellow weapon rarity can be used for the final one. I'm not exactly sure. Regardless, you might as well just try and do this. I'll add a pinned comment if I know for sure in the future. Anyways, after you have fed it all of the weapon rarities, a orange portal will then spawn in Zarya Cosmodrome for the relic trial, which you can interact with to initiate it, which will begin a vote if you're in a multiplayer game, or you'll jump straight in if you're in a solo match. Once you are within the relic trial, what the trial itself is going to be is that ammo caches and max ammo power-ups will be disabled. So you need to go into this with full ammo already, and you need to be really cautious with how many bullets you actually use. Obviously, Mule Kick was recently added, making this trial a lot easier. I would definitely recommend having 3 weapons, but of course the Necrofluid Gauntlet's wonder weapon essentially has unlimited ammunition, so definitely take that in, and definitely be using combat axes for this as well, because they're essentially infinite as long as you are collecting them, and you can just train them about and keep throwing them, picking them off at a time. Of course, there are going to be 2 different rounds, including the last one, that are going to be HVT rounds, where you need to specifically kill the HVTs instead of just clearing all of the regular waves. Of course, there's going to be 5 waves total, just like all of the regular relic challenges, so you need to focus on the HVT Doppelgas. The War Machine score streak is great for this. So once you have managed to defeat all 5 of the waves, you will then teleport back onto the map and you will unlock the Samantha's drawing relic, if you apply the relic onto your future matches, what it does itself is every weapon that the player has will swap each round, but will still retain the pack-a-punch and rarity level. Essentially, it's going to be like gun game, and unfortunately, and this may be bugged right now, so Trek may change it in the future, but if you have a wonder weapon, it will then swap your weapon to a regular weapon, really messing with your game. So again, it may be a bug, I'm not entirely sure. Thirdly, the last Sinister relic I'm going to show you how to unlock is the Focusing Stone from Shangri-La. So the first thing you need to do in the tier 2 match, you need to head over to round 40, and there are going to be 2 different wine bottles that you need to collect on the map. You can do these in any particular order. The first one, kill a Xursa bear with melee weapon, and you are able to weaken him with your bullet weapon, but after which, you need to make sure the final blow is with a melee, so just be careful, after which he'll drop a wine bottle that you can then collect. And if you want, you can force a bear spawn in by doing the skull's side Easter egg. There are 3 different skulls on the map that you need to collect with the Necrofluid Gauntlet. If you don't know how to get that, a link is in the description, although you probably definitely know what to do if you're watching this guide. So all 3 of the skulls can be found in the Zarya Cosmodrome. This first one here is just in this zombie spawn, so you can shoot that, and it will glow when you have shot it correctly. Just be wary of the hitboxes. The next one can be found if you zipline down here, come through the support systems, and you'll find it just behind the yellow gate right here, so you can shoot that there. Third and finally, the other one can be found just on this metal bar here. You only need to shoot these, you don't need to reel it back in. I know some people have been saying that, after which the Xursa will spawn in. The next one can be gotten via completing a legendary TED task. So simply keep doing the TED tasks until you successfully manage to get one to a legendary. You can then go over to the crate to collect your rewards, and a bottle will drop out from it that you can then collect. My teammate collected it, by the way, so I don't have a clip actually picking it up. After you have done that, if you head over to the cabin, you can then place the bottles down onto the bar. After you do so, the bottles are going to break in a random order, and you need to try and remember that order, so keep note of them if your memory isn't that great, or take a recording, or have a friend or family keep note for you or something, because after they break, they are going to respawn, and you are going to then have to break them in the exact order that they broke before. So yeah, not too difficult to do at all. You should be able to copy this Simon Says sequence. You can then head back over to Ascension, the Cosmodrome, and there is going to be a yellow portal that you can activate to initiate the relic trial. Be prepared for this. Obviously, you'll be on a high round though, so you should be prepared. Obviously, you can get golden armor to help you out as well. It'll begin a vote if you are in a multiplayer game, after which the Sinister trial will activate, which will forfeit all essence. So yes, during this trial, you are not going to have any essence during this, so you won't be able to buy ammunition, perks. However, of course, you can still go ahead and grab gobblegums that will help you out. Now, don't worry, your points will return after this, and it is recommended to bring some gobblegums into this, especially because you are going to be potentially low on ammo, so make sure you have full ammo and you're stacked up with everything. Probably have all the perks, make sure you have Vulture Aid as well, that'll help with your ammunition concerns, and you just need to basically survive through all of the waves. You know the drill. Eventually, when you get to the final 5th wave, since there's going to be 5 total, you need to kill all of the HVTs, so focus on them whilst making sure you don't die from the zombies either. On the second wave, you are going to have to kill all of the HVTs, so be wary of that. Focus on killing them, but make sure you don't die from the zombies either. And yeah, just make your way through all of the waves. Then when you get to the 5th and final wave, you will once again have to kill all of the HVTs again. After you have completed all 5 of the waves, you will teleport back onto the map, and the curse trial will be completed, and you will now have the Focusing Stone relic. And when you apply this relic to your game, what it does is it will ban self-revive kits, so you will not be able to use them, making the game a lot more challenging. And it certainly makes Dying Wish a lot more important. So if you have managed to unlock those relics, you will then be able to play a tier 2 game of Curse. Now, you don't actually need to unlock all of the Sinister relics in order to make it a tier 2 match, as just applying 2 Grims and 2 Sinister relics will make it tier 2, but once you are within a tier 2 match, you will now have the benefit of unlocking Ultra Weapon Rarity, which costs a total of 17,500 salvage after cycling through all of the previous tiers, or just 8,000 right at the end, if you upgrade from just the base grey rarity, or just 8,000 if you have cycled through the tiers before then. So this will make your weapons a lot better, that will help you out for this. But once you are now within a tier 2 game of Cursed, by applying various different combinations of relics, it can potentially be a combination of some of the future ones as well if you manage to unlock them and you want to go back into a tier 2 match. Regardless, you can start then unlocking the Wicked relics. So the first wicked relic I'm going to show you how to unlock is the infamous TranZit bus. So jump into a tier 2 game, and this is absolutely ridiculous because you have to make your way over to round 60. It's probably likely that Trek may nerf this in the future because a lot of people are complaining about it. And this step is absolutely ridiculous because you have to complete round 60 without taking any damage. I don't know why Trek have made this so difficult. So you cannot take a single hit whatsoever, you cannot take full damage, no damage whatsoever. I honestly do not know how many people are even going to attempt this because it is so niche. And you can do this on any round past round 60, it doesn't have to be directly on round 60, but you just need to survive a full round without taking damage on any round past then. Now a great way to cheat this kind of is just waiting for a Ravager round and then activating one of the saw traps, as you can see in the gameplay in the background, and then you can just throw a Casimir grenade to keep them all away from you, and it's just so funny watching all of these Ravagers. So if you are within a multiplayer game, you can all have the Casimir stacked up so you can just get through the round easier, or you can use a timed out Gobblegum at the start of a round, which ends the current round and prevents new zombies from spawning for 3 minutes. Now if you fail on round 60 and you get hit, do not worry, you can attempt it again on a future round. Basically any round after round 60 you need to survive without taking a single hit. Obviously though, the higher into the rounds you go, the harder it's going to become, but if you fail it you can wait for the next Ravager round, or you can attempt it using a timeout Gobblegum again, which clears all normal and special enemies and ends the round. Normal spawning will not resume during this time, lasts 3 minutes. You will know you've done the round correctly because you will hear Mr. Peak's laugh. This is me from the future. Trek actually patched the timeout method, so that no longer works, and the no damage 60 plus method as well as the trap method do still work, but they don't work consistently, and there's many reports of it not working for people. So I do think Trek have been trying to patch out this method, and whilst I would suggest if you want to attempting these methods, I would assume that because they don't work 100% of the time, that it suggests these previous methods were actually incorrect and accidental, and with whatever way that Trek patched in the correct steps for this relic meant that other methods were working. And this also suggests to me that at some point Trek will fully patch the trap method, but I have found an alternative method for completing the bus relic challenge, and I would assume this is the one that Trek intended, but the way that they coded it in meant that other methods of taking no damage in the round actually worked. So I believe that you have to use the old Tessie truck to clear an entire round at round 60 or higher, and must be done without getting hit or using any other forms of damage. So the suggested strategy is using the Abomination head, which you can find inside of Ashwood, and I would suggest once you are on round 60 plus, waiting for a Ravager round because it'll just make it a lot easier to do because you'll have to survive a shorter period of time, and avoid taking any damage whilst in Tessie, and simply use the Pack-a-Punch core boost for Tessie to boost through the large crowds of Ravagers on the Ravager round to avoid damage, and then use the garage for small healing breaks on the vehicle. It may also be recommended to use the DG2 turret to make this easier, but I didn't manage to test that. So I do believe that this is the intended method for unlocking the bus relic, which is essentially being in Tessie for an entire wave and not taking any damage in it. And this makes complete sense because after all, this is the TranZit bus relic and the truck is the equivalent of the TranZit bus. Yes, I know that most of the other relic challenges are not correlated with what the actual relic is. However, I do think this one was intended to be because it makes sense. I just think the way that Trek coded it in meant that if you were taking no damage on regular rounds as well, it would count this to work, which is why Trek have been patching out the other methods and why they don't work 100% of the time. So you can still try the trap method, it does still work, but not 100% of the time, whereas this truck method does work 100% of the time. Now, like I said, you can do it on a regular wave or a Ravager wave, but of course a Ravager wave is a lot easier. You just need to be in Tessie for an entire wave and not take any damage. After you do so, you will hear Mr. Peak's laugh to let you know that the relic trial portal has spawned in. After you have completed it in whatever way you deem necessary, maybe you've got your own strategies which you can leave in the comments below, you want to head over to Blackwater Lake. The portal will spawn in the boathouse. Well, there'll now be a red portal to activate the relic trial, which you can interact with, which will start a vote if you are within a multiplayer game. Make sure you're all prepared for this. And this is a very, very difficult challenge. So the relic trial is zombies can only be killed by other zombies, so using brain rot. And unfortunately, the side grenades do not work for this either, which obviously turns them into friendly zombies as well. So make sure you have good augments on for this. I would recommend using the major augment for brain rot, Caustic Fumes, which causes the charmed enemies to deal toxic damage to nearby enemies, and I would recommend the minor augment Haste as well as Super Serum, respectively reducing the cooldown of the brain rot activation and increasing the damage dealt by charmed zombies. Since you're already going to be on round 60 plus anyways and making a big commitment, I would recommend fully researching brain rot before attempting this. I would recommend for elemental pop using the Citrus Focus augment, making it so the only ammo mod that triggers through elemental pop is the one currently applied, in this case of course brain rot, making it even more frequent. And I would recommend the minor augment Chill Berry to reduce the elemental pop cooldown. I'm not sure if any of the other elemental pop minor augments would be helpful here, but if you think any are better, you can try them out and leave a comment in the comments below. And do not use the pheromone augment. Now for the weapon, I would recommend using the Echo 12 shotgun, as the pellets can infect numerous zombies with brain rot, although any shotgun would be capable of doing this, so pick and choose which one you want. There are 6 different phases. 1 and 2 are standard waves, 3 is to kill HVTs, 4 and 5 are standard waves, 6 is HVTs. For the standard waves to survive, I would recommend just training the zombies and shooting them to activate the brain rot, of course very self-explanatory. So for the HVT waves, these are going to be much harder, so I would recommend using decoy grenades or ideally Casimirs if you have lots of salvage to bring the enemies together, which is helpful in making the most of your brain rotted zombies so that they're all grouped together. If you are doing this within a cooperative match, then consider that zombies you brain rot will target the zombies near you, so it's helpful that you have the HVT enemies near you when you shoot to trigger brain rot. So yeah, you just basically need to survive all of the waves. The trial will take about 10 minutes or so though to complete. It is going to be quite challenging, and that's just the unfortunate nature of it. It is very tedious, but hopefully you make your way through. I would recommend just training into the cabin and then trying to shoot the zombies near there, because they're all going to be clustered up, and that way you can hopefully get a load taken out in each brain rot succession. But yeah, you're basically just going to have to be playing this a bit slow. It's going to be very annoying to do. Just make sure you don't get trapped at all. Be using the wide space outside of the cabin to your advantage, and then coming into the cabin to then take them out with the brain rot. It's going to be especially hard when you get the HVT rounds, which you get halfway through, and then on the 6th round as well, which the normal zombies do not really matter. You have to kill the HVTs to actually complete these waves, so you need to make sure that the turned zombies actually focus on the HVTs by getting them stuck in tight spaces between some of the trees or some of the fences outside or inside of the cabin. This bit's going to be very tedious to have them focus on them. Anyways, once you've completed all 6 waves, you will then teleport back onto the map and you will have the bus trial completed. Fortunately, no bus actually on this map. What this will do is it will cause enemies within the game to actually regenerate their health, which is extremely frustrating, which you'll definitely need the health bars on for that, but that's going to be quite a hefty challenge, and an annoying one at that. Secondly, the next relic I want to show you how to unlock is the Dragon Head from the Eisendrache/Outbreak. So in order to unlock this relic, you need to jump into your tier 2 or higher match, and you need to complete the main Easter egg. Yes, that's right, you need to complete the main Easter egg and finish the boss on round 60. So you need to make your way quite high into the rounds. However, right now, there is a bit of an exploit in order to do this easier. So I will have a guide in the description on how to complete the main quest. Luckily, Vaitharion's been nerfed to the ground, so that's going to make it a lot easier to do. But right now, you don't actually need to complete the main quest on round 60. You just need to complete the main quest at any point in your match before round 60. So obviously aim to do this as quickly as you can and as ready as you are, after which you can then make your way over to round 60 and save and quit your match and then re-jump back into your game, and it tricks the game into thinking you've just completed the main quest on round 60, so you'll then hear Mr. Peak's laugh. You can get all of your loot from completing the Easter egg, and then if you head over to the cabin, there will be a red portal to activate the relic trial, which will begin a vote in your game. Like I said though, this is going to be nerfed, so it will be changed in the future, so you will have to go ahead and make your way onto round 60 and defeat the boss on round 60, but this is a great getaway for now. Once all of your team are ready and have voted, you will jump into the relic trial where you're going to have to complete 6 different waves, and zombies will only be able to be damaged by explosives. So the ray gun does work for this as well. Any weapons that enact splash damage, like you can see from the gameplay in the background. Of course, equipment is great for this, and luckily the wonder weapon, the Necrofluid Gauntlet, works for this as well. We're using the charged explosions when you reel it back in. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Of course, on round 3 as well as round 6, you are going to have HVT waves where you need to focus your target on defeating the HVTs, you can kill the regular zombies as well, but that's not what's actually necessary. Once you manage to make your way through all 6 of the waves, you will then spawn back onto the map, and you will unlock the Dragon Head Relic, which will disable all ammo crates on the map. That's going to make the game way more challenging, like truly classic zombies. Third and finally, and I guess the 9th one and the last one that you can unlock in total on Ashes of the Damned until more are released, is Richthofen's Blood Vials of the mobsters. Anyways, once you are within a game, there are going to be a ton of telephone spawns around the map, and you need to make your way over to round 20 minimum. So in order to do this, there are going to be telephones that will spawn around the map from round 20 onwards. But these are going to be extremely loud, so whilst I will be showing gameplay of some of the spots in the gameplay in the background, you should be able to locate them by just traversing around all of the different points of interest and be able to hear out from it, because you literally cannot miss it. It's that loud. Now, there are phone spawn locations in Ashwood, the Cosmodrome, Blackwater Lake, the Janus Towers Plaza spawn room, and essentially you need to interact with 5 of these phones, and they are going to spawn from round 20 onwards, then also on round 30 onwards, round 40 onwards, round 50 onwards, and then you should do your final one from round 60 onwards. So yes, you need to make your way all the way to round 60 in order to do this. So every time you manage to locate one of these phones, you need to spam the interact, holding it though, don't tap, and it will float, you'll hear Mr. Peak's laugh, and it'll disappear. And then you need to wait for the next one to spawn in, so on and so forth. Now, there used to be a bug with this, which is why people were able to do it easier, because if you would spam the interact, you could essentially trick the game in order to do it all with just one phone, instead of having to interact with many of them. But that no longer works. However, there is still an exploit associated with this. Now, you may be watching this in the future and it might have been patched by then, but if you use the round off gobblegum on round 20, and then you locate and interact with the phone, when the round changes, the phone will spawn in again and you'll be able to interact with it again, and half of the round off gobblegum will be used. You will then be able to flip the round again, interact with another one, and so on and so forth. So then you can use the gobblegum again, and you can keep doing this until you have interacted with all 5 of them. But yeah, this will probably get patched in the future, like I said. But anyways, once you have made your way over to round 60 plus, and you've interacted with 5 different phones, or you've used the exploit, a red portal will then spawn in the Blackwater Lake cabin that you can interact with to begin the relic trial. It'll initiate a vote if you're in a multiplayer game. Make sure you are all prepared, or if you're in solo, that you are prepared to go into the trial. Once you are within the trial, weapons will deal 50% less damage, so you really do want to make sure that you are beefed out as possible for this, and you are going to have to survive 6 waves. Now, the cool thing is that if you are playing within a tier 2 match, there is now tier 4 weapon rarity that you were able to purchase, which costs 17,500 salvage if you upgrade it from grey rarity, so that can certainly help you out with this. But try and pack a punch to tier 3 before going into this as well. Have all perks and whatever can possibly help you out to be surviving. So yeah, just make your way through all 6 of the waves. At round 3, you are going to have to kill all of the HVTs, as well as at round 6, so focus on them, but make sure you don't die from the zombies either. Once you manage to survive all 6 waves, you then spawn back into the map, the trial will be completed, and you will unlock the Blood Vials Relic. The cycle continues. Now, when you equip this relic in a curse match, it will disable all weapon augments for the entire match, making the game way more difficult. Kind of like in the beta. Crazy challenge here. After you have completed all 9 relics and Ashes of the Damned, you will then unlock the Reliquary Dark Ops calling card, collect all relics and Ashes of the Damned, which features many of the relics, the Dragon Head, the Blood Vials, the Focusing Stone, the Vril Device, etc. Of course, you can do them in any particular order, but I would imagine most of you are doing this after getting the Samantha drawing, considering that was the last one to be found. Okay, so now you are able to play a tier 3 match of Curse Mode in Black Ops 7 Zombies. Now, just like playing Sinister, you do not need to have all 9 relics equipped to be able to be in a tier 3 match. Various different combinations work. Anyways, once you are now within a tier 3 match, you will then be able to get Pack-a-Punch tier 4 unlocked. So this is going to cost a total of 100,000 essence, and of course the regular Pack-a-Punch is increased anyways in Curse Mode. Tier 1 is 10,000 essence, Tier 2 25,000 essence, Tier 3 50,000 essence, so in total 185,000, which is ridiculous. I hope Trek changes this in the future, and the unfortunate thing is that these curse rewards do not work in standard mode, which a lot of people were hoping for before release, because I don't think there's that much incentive to do these really hard challenges otherwise, because no one's going to want to play with all of these different detractors just to be able to get the benefits of, you know, an extra tier of Pack-a-Punch and weapon rarity and the gold armor. Now there are also other rewards that you are able to unlock inside of Cursed, which are going to be the Pack-a-Punch camos from Gorod Krovi. So if you complete the main quest in Ashes of the Damned on tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 difficulty, you will unlock exclusive camos, like I said, from Gorod Krovi for the Pack-a-Punch, which look very cool, and obviously you can apply them in the menu, you can use them on Ashes of the Damned or even future maps like Astra Malorum, which is absolutely awesome. But people are asking for these rewards to be universal camos, so you will be able to use them inside a multiplayer, Warzone, endgame, etc. as well. And I think Trek should do that. It would incentivize a lot more people to attempt unlocking all of these relics inside of Curse and completing the main quest inside of Curse. Now, if you need help on how to complete the main quest, I will have a tutorial linked in the description. Of course, if you are unlocking the relics, you will have probably already done it, so you know what to do. But if you need further help, or maybe you did it for the first time with friends and you're a bit stuck, you can check out that tutorial if you want to attempt it again inside of Cursed. Moving along, I'm now going to show you how to unlock all 6 of the relics on Astra Malorum. First of all, I'll be showing you how to unlock the 2 Grim relics. The first Grim relic I'll be showing you how to unlock is the Gong from Shangri-La. First of all, you will need to complete the Astra Malorum main quest on any version of the mode to be able to unlock relics on the map. Then you can play any tier difficulty of a Cursed match. You will need the Deadwire ammo mod and Tesla Storm field upgrade for this. The Tesla Storm augments I would recommend are, for the major, don't run Shockwave or Static Discharge, and for the minor, any is fine. For the Deadwire augments, for the major, I would recommend not running the Ball Lightning augment. For the minor augment, don't run the High Voltage augment, and I would recommend running Haste and or the Extension augments, which are ideal. Basically, you will need to use these without killing a zombie, so you want to do minimal damage, so run any or lack of augments that you think are best for this. So just leave some augments blank if you have not unlocked any that are going to be beneficial to you, and the only ones you have will cause it to inflict more damage. Once you are within a match, you will need to make your way to round 20+. On your way to round 20+, you will need to get a grey rarity weapon with Deadwire on it. I would recommend just spawning in with a low damage pistol. The reason for this is, like I said earlier, you want to avoid killing zombies too quickly with the Deadwire weapon. This can either be your loadout weapon that you mustn't upgrade, or you can get the pistol that spawns in on the floor in one of the buildings for the Seed relic. From round 20 onwards, from round 20+, a specific singular zombie with a rod will spawn in every single round. This zombie will spawn in at the beginning of every round, and unlike other zombies that despawn when you move through areas, it will always follow you. You will need to take 3 of these zombies on 3 separate rounds, since there's only one around, to 3 different doorways on the map that have a light bulb above them. The 3 of these can be found in the Observatory Dome, Pack-a-Punch Room, the Luminarium by Juggernog, and finally the Archive of Osiris by Stamina. Of course, you can do these in any particular order. Now, whilst you can technically do the step with it whilst all of the other zombies are on the map, it is recommended to kill off all of the other zombies to leave it on its own to make it much easier. The goal here is to get to the end of the round and isolate the rod zombie while damaging this rod zombie as little as possible. To do this, you want to gather a horde at spawn. Once no more are spawning in, run to the Pack-a-Punch room as fast as possible. The entire horde will respawn at the Pack-a-Punch, while the rod zombie will have to walk from spawn to get there. This buys you about 20 seconds to get as many kills as you can where you know the rod zombie is a safe distance away. Technically, you can do this in another location on the map, but I found the Pack-a-Punch room to be the best due to the large distance. Keep an eye out on the door that you entered the Pack-a-Punch room from, as after around 20 seconds, the rod zombie will enter through that door and you will want to stop killing again. Horde up the zombies, run back to the spawn, and then kill some more zombies until the rod zombie turns up. Repeat this running back and forth until the rod zombie is the last one left. Of course, on a lower round it'll be easier. Then, once the rod zombie is the last one in the round, bring them over to one of the doorway bulbs. In this case, I first brought them to the Luminarium. Once at one of the bulbs, you then want to pull out your low damage gun, which in my case is the spawn pistol for me in the gameplay that you can see, and then shoot the zombie ever so slightly one by one to activate Deadwire on them. But of course, don't kill it. And then instantly use Tesla Storm while Deadwire is active, which causes an electric wisp to then transfer from the zombie and light up the bulb. You can now kill the zombie and finish off the round. You then need to repeat this process 2 more times, so 3 total like I said. Of course, the full power Gobblegum makes it easier since you need 3 Tesla Storms in total. So go to the next round and once again have the rod zombie as the final one. Using the method I described, then bring them to one of the bulb doorways again. This time I brought them to the Pack-a-Punch room. Again, shoot it with your low damage grey rarity weapon ever so slightly until Deadwire activates, but don't kill it. Then activate Tesla Storm immediately, and the electric orb will transfer to the bulb to light it up. You can now kill the zombie and finally progress one more round and isolate the rod zombie once again using the method I said, and lure it to the final bulb doorway you've yet to do, in my case in the Archive of Osiris. Shoot it with the grey rarity weapon ever so slightly until Deadwire activates, and activate Tesla Storm immediately. The orb will transfer, lighting up the third and final bulb. Of course, if you accidentally fail on any of the rounds, if you kill the rod zombie too early at any point, just go to the next round since another will spawn in. Now if you want, you can also apply the Bust Relic onto your game if you have unlocked it. If not, there is a guide in the description from Ashes of the Damned, which causes the zombie's health to slowly regenerate. Combined with the augments I suggested earlier, this means that you can theoretically do each of the 3 lamps with the very same rod zombie without having to get a new one by progressing the rounds. Either method though is pretty easy, so it's up to you which one you want to do. Of course, having the bust applied will make your game a bit more difficult as well as the relic trial, and there's still a risk involved that you might accidentally kill the rod zombie anyways. Mr. Peaks will laugh once you have done all 3 correctly, letting you know that the relic challenge is complete.
Welcome to the disco. Now dance, fuckos.
Now, a green relic trial portal will spawn in the Stargazer's courtyard that you can interact with to activate the relic trial. There will be a vote in a multiplayer game, or you will go straight in if in solo, so make sure you are prepared for the challenge beforehand. You will then teleport into the Abyssal Rim with a green hue over your gameplay. But this relic trial isn't too difficult. Zombies can only be damaged by electric damage. So of course have Deadwire on all of your weapons that you are using, and Tesla Storm will kill them as well. There will be 4 different waves that you need to complete, with rounds 2 and 4 being HVT waves, which you can kill them normally, you don't have to just use electric damage. So on the regular waves, I would recommend just looping the zombies around and then shooting them with Deadwire to activate it, as well as you can use Tesla Storm if that recharges. You can also bring in some Gobblegums if they will help you out, but yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult. And then for the HVT rounds, since you will have HVT Uberklauses, just take out the Uberklauses like you would usually, and make sure you open up the door into the Luminarium as well so you can avoid its charge. There is also a Wonder Fizz over in the Stargazer's courtyard that you can buy your other perks from if you have gone in without them all. So yeah, just focus on killing the Uberklauses on these rounds and just avoid the normal zombies as best as you can unless they are in your way. Then once you've completed all 4 waves, you will teleport back onto the map, and that will be the relic trial completed. You will have unlocked the Gong relic now. You will then be able to equip it to future cursed matches, which its effects will be field upgrade starts charge but can only be charged by full power, making things a lot more difficult. Of course, you can use Gobblegums to get full powers instead. Let me know how you find this challenge and this relic, and let me know if you have any further tips in the comments below, of course. The second Grim Relic I'll be showing you how to unlock is the Seed from Zetsubo no Shima. Again, in order to unlock this, you can play in any tier difficulty or standard cursed, and I've completed the main quest to be able to unlock relics in cursed. First of all, you need to have relics unlocked in cursed, obviously, via completing the main quest. You are then able to unlock this relic in any difficulty of cursed. It can just be the base version of cursed. After which, you need to make your way over to round 20, and from round 20 onwards, there is going to be a random pistol that you're able to find around the map, randomly inside of one of the buildings. In the gameplay in the background, I found it within the Luminarium, but you may find it in a different place. On screen right now, you can see a map of all of the different pistol spawn locations. There are 6 of them to be specific, posted by Nanakos. Now, the Ravagers are also able to eat the pistol off of the floor. However, if you save and quit your match, another one will spawn at one of the spawn locations that I showed you. After you have located it, pick up the pistol, and what you are going to have to do is get a certain number of kills on the round with the pistol, which seems to be equal to the round that you're on when you pick it up. So for example, if it's round 20, you need to get 20 kills, 25 kills, round 50 kills, etc. This was discovered by Rancy Kansi, and I want to give a big thank you to Nanakos as well for providing a good summary for the steps that I'll be using as a basis for this video. I would recommend opening up the weapon stats tab that shows up on the scoreboard, which makes it much easier to keep track of the total number of kills that you have gotten instead of just manually counting. If you have Mule Kick, however, the weapon stats tab only shows for the first 2 weapons. Hopefully Treyarch can change this in the future, so if the pistol is your 3rd Mule Kick weapon, buy a weapon off of the wall and cycle the pistol to another weapon slot. You'll get an activation noise if you get the right amount when the round completes.
Now, once you have gotten the correct amount of kills, you then just need to complete the round using some other method of killing the zombies. Do not use the pistol. So you need to get this number of kills on any future round that you were on. If you get under or over the amount of kills that you are supposed to get on a given round, you just need to pass to the next round and then try again. Now, a great tip for this is you are able to upgrade the rarity of the pistol as well as pack-a-punch it to any tier of difficulty. It's not a requirement to just use the base one for this, so go ahead, upgrade the weapon rarity and pack-a-punch it to make it easier to get the kills. It is recommended to avoid using the Elemental Pop, Wisp T or PhD Flopper perks, as this will be harder to track the exact kill requirements that you are trying to aim for, since Elemental Pop may accidentally activate or Wisp T, and I would also avoid using ammo mods for that exact same reason. Whilst you are able to do so, it can cause you to fail the round, messing up the counter. You can also use the free insta-kill power-up, which you can see the footage of in the background, so you can just get all of the kills during that, so you don't have to worry about pack-a-punching or upgrading the weapon rarity. Now, this does seem to still be bugged for some people. I don't know if it's bugged or people are just doing it incorrectly, but if it doesn't work on your first attempt, just try it again and just keep on trying and you'll probably get it by your second or third attempt. Like I said, if you don't get the correct number of kills with the pistol, you can just progress the rounds to attempt to do so. And I believe you can get the kills with the pistol before or after using any other weapon to get kills. You just need to ensure you get that specific number of kills on the round. So after you have successfully managed to complete a round getting the correct number of kills, the relic trial will then spawn in. Like I said, it may take you multiple attempts to get it to spawn in, which spawns in the observatory dome. A green portal will be there, which you can activate to initiate a vote if you're in a multiplayer game, or just go straight in if you are in a solo game. And the trial will be you will only have a pack-a-punch pistol, so you will have 4 different waves that you need to survive. You're probably familiar with the relics by now, so simply just survive through all of the zombies. You will have shock mimics on some waves. On wave 2 as well as wave 4, you will have to kill all of the HVTs as well, so just focus on killing them during the rounds. This isn't too difficult, but make sure you are stocking up on ammunition and you have good perks, etc. before going into this. But once you have managed to complete wave 4, defeating all of the HVTs, you will then spawn back onto the map and you will unlock the seed. And if you attach this relic to your future cursed games, the effect that it's going to have is will disable the mystery box, so you will just have to rely on your loadout weapon and war weapons. Secondly, I'll be showing you how to unlock the 2 Sinister relics. The first Sinister relic I'll be showing you how to unlock is the Spider Fang from Zetsubou no Shima. First of all, you need to be playing on a minimum of a tier 1 cursed match or higher, and of course have completed the Astra Malorum main quest. Once you have to do the following. You must get to round 40 or higher, and then once Oscar spawns, you need to kill him via 2 simultaneous methods. You need to have the Wisp T perk and have the Wisp attacking Oscar while simultaneously melee attacking him to kill him. Neither will work separately. He must be melee killed while under the attack of your Wisp. I would highly recommend using Ether Shroud to then go invisible to attack him. Ether Shroud also makes him instantly drop his shield, so just wait for the Wisp to appear and then Shroud and then melee him as fast as possible. Just spam it basically. And I would highly recommend popping an insta-kill Gobblegum, or you can activate the insta-kill free power-up on the map as well, and then you can melee him whilst the Wisp is attacking. Now unfortunately it is a bit fiddly and it may take you multiple attempts to get right. Some tips I use to get it consistently: I would recommend using the extra damage augment for Wisp T, Mask of Wraith, or the one that makes the Wisp focus on elites, and the quicker recharge augment is of course very useful as well. And of course I would recommend having the melee Macchiato perk, so your melee can do more damage against him. Vampiric Extraction is a great augment for melee Macchiato to use. Melee attacks heal a small amount of your health. Make sure you also have a high rarity tier 3 Pack-a-Punch knife in the meantime whilst you are waiting to get to round 40. Unfortunately, the Wisp can get the final blow on Oscar, meaning that you may fail this. If it's instead of your melee, you'll know you've completed it correctly because you'll hear Mr. Peak's laugh. After you have done that successfully, the yellow-orange relic trial will spawn in the archive of Osiris, which you can go to and initiate the trial, which will begin a vote if you're in a multiplayer game, or you'll portal in instantaneously if you're on solo. So make sure you are prepared for this. This Sinister trial will mean that you will have no perks active in the match. However, you can go ahead and run up to the Wonder Fizz machine to rebuy your perks whilst you are doing this trial, and you can try using your traps. Of course, you can bring in all of the overpowered Gobblegums as well, Perkaholic, etc. etc. You must fight through 3 waves of regular zombies plus 2 HVT waves halfway through and the final one, so 5 waves total. One will be an Uber Klaus and then you'll get a HVT Oscar. Without perks these present quite the challenge, but the strategy is doing large trains and slowly chipping away at the HVT health using the LGM-1 Wonder Weapon. Of course with better gobblegum loadouts for this it's going to be much easier. Pro tip here is that even though the game takes away your perks, you do keep any eternal perks, the perma perks you've gotten in your game, and as of a recent patch, Treyarch have now updated it so the perks are highlighted so you can tell which ones are the eternal perks. So if you are going for this, popping a perkaholic as fast as possible and doing as many TED tasks as you can, as well as doing side Easter eggs to get perma perks, the eternal perks is very useful. Of course in curse matches as well you get random Mr. Peaks you can shoot to get eternal perks as well. To speedrun getting eternal perks is a great tip. Once you have managed to defeat all 5 waves, the Spider Fang relic will unlock and usable in cursed and will make it so perk costs at machines never decrease, making it just a lot more expensive and much more of a challenge. The second Sinister relic I'm going to show you how to unlock are the Matryoshka dolls from Ascension. The first thing you need to do is you need to have completed the main quest in order to unlock relics inside of Cursed, and then you need to have some relics unlocked to be able to play in a minimum of a tier 1 match, after which you need to jump into a game and progress to round 40 minimum. And you also need to be able to access the Mars area during the main quest on the map. If you don't know how to do the main quest, there's a link to a tutorial in the description. Just be doing the steps as you are progressing to 40. You also need to have 3 C4s on your person, so once you are within the Mars section, there is going to be this circle pillar platform in the center, and there are 3 different piles of guts on the outskirts of this circle, and you need to place 1 C4 onto each of them. And essentially what you need to do is you need to hoard up the zombies onto this circular platform and then activate the C4s all at once to try and get as many kills as possible. If you have managed to get enough kills, you will then hear Mr. Peaks laugh, letting you know that the relic challenge has now completed and the portal for the trial has spawned in. I'm unsure on the specific number of kills that you've gotten, but if you've got a full horde it should be enough, but if you fail this you can just keep retrying it again on the subsequent rounds. Then if you head back onto the main map, teleport back and go to Machina Australis, and a yellow relic trial portal will now spawn in. You can interact with it to teleport you into the trial, or it'll activate a vote if you're in a multiplayer game. You will then spawn in the Stargazer's courtyard with a yellow hue over your screen, and the relic trial is going to be enemies can only be killed while using a field upgrade. So make sure you bring in a field upgrade that's going to do as many kills as you possibly want. Dark Flare, Frenzied Guard, you can use the Energy Mine or Toxic Growth as well, but they may not be as effective. Of course, the field upgrades are going to recharge over time, so just keep hoarding them around and try and get as many kills with the horde as possible. You have a lot of distance to work with, so bear that in mind. Some different gobblegums can help, insta-kills of course. Halfway through, as well as the final round, will be HVT only waves, so you want to focus your field upgrade on taking out the HVTs. Anyways, after you've survived all 5 waves, you will then teleport back onto the map and you will unlock the Matryoshka Doll's relic. And when you apply this relic onto your future cursed matches, it will halve the drop rate of salvage, definitely making things a lot more challenging. I mean, it's not exactly great as it is. Finally, I'll be showing you how to unlock the 2 wicked relics. The first wicked relic I'm going to show you how to unlock is the golden Spork from Mob/Blood of the Dead. First of all, you need to be playing in a tier 2 or higher match of Cursed, so you need to have prior relics unlocked first to equip them onto your match to be able to get to tier 2 or higher to be able to unlock this. Like all of the other tier 2 relics in the game, the first thing you need to do is jump into a match and you need to make your way over to round 60 plus. However, right now the game is currently bugged, and so this works on any round lower than 60 plus. However, this will inevitably be patched. If it does, I will clarify in the description and a pinned comment, but right now you can get started right away in your match. So in your game you need to do the main quest until you are able to access the Mars section of the map. If you need help with doing the main quest, there is a link in the description. You can get started on doing the main quest as soon as you jump into your game, of course. In the Mars section you will need to have a mangler cannon, so go ahead and get that prior to entering the area, and you will also need to have decoy grenades. You want to be doing this step with as many zombies on the map as possible, a good amount of them because they will be needed. You then need to go up to the teleporter at the top of the temple and shoot it with the mangler cannon, and then teleport back to the main Astra Malorum map to the Machina Australis. Around 10 seconds or so later, after you have teleported back onto the map, the mangler cannon shot will come through the portal lagging behind in the direction you've shot it, and you just need to then come up and run on top of this red ritual, and you need to get the zombies to gather here, so throw a decoy grenade
pointed at it to make it much easier, because then the Mangler Cannon shot is going to come, shoot through, and hopefully kill as many zombies for you as possible. There may be some other good strategies for this as well, but if you have managed to get enough kills, you will hear the Mr. Peak's laugh letting you know you have done this correctly.
Where's my MVP trophy?
Now, if you fail this, you just have to attempt it again. You may have to go on to the next round, although I'm not sure if that's actually necessary. After you have completed the Relic Challenge, the Relic Trial portal will then spawn in the crash site. It will be a red portal that you can interact with, which will teleport you immediately in if you are in solo, or activate a vote if you're in a multiplayer match, so make sure you are ready for the challenge. You will then spawn back in the crash site, but with an orange hue over the map, and the trial is going to be enemies can only take damage while hip firing. There are going to be 6 waves total to complete. So I guess this is pretty self-explanatory. It's not too difficult of a challenge. I would recommend just grouping them around and hip firing with your weapon. Of course, the LGM1 Wonder Weapon is great as well, since you would obviously be mostly hip firing with this anyways. Like usual, halfway through the 6 rounds and the final round are going to be HVT trials, but again, nothing really too complicated. You just need to be hip firing. After you have completed all 6 waves, you will then teleport back onto the map and you will unlock the Golden Spork Relic. When you apply the Golden Spork Relic to your future cursed matches after unlocking it, what it will do is it will inflict double damage from the zombies onto you, so the game will be a lot harder, basically a hardcore difficulty really. The second wicked relic I'm going to show you how to unlock is the Civil Protector Head from Shadows of Evil. We finally have the exact strategy, so you no longer need to do trial and error in order to solve this. First things first, you need to have some prior relics unlocked to be able to be playing in a tier 2 or higher match of Cursed, using various different relic combinations. And you need to make your way over to round 60 plus and have the Energy Mine field upgrade, and you must have the PhD Flopper perk as well. So once you're on round 60 plus, head over to the spawn of the map where there is Tessie, and you need to have a full charge of Energy Mine and activate it by Tessie. After which it will power up Tessie and its headlights will begin flashing at the front and back. And essentially this is going to give you an order that you need to PhD flop on different lamps in Museum Infinitum. So it's going to basically give you a numbered sequence as they are flashing, and you'll know when the sequence is completed and then restarts when it will start flashing repeatedly, stop for a second, and then it will start the sequence again. So basically you need to track the order of which lights spawn in of the 4 locations. The front left, the front right, the back left, the back right. On screen right now you can see a map which correlates the order of the lights flashing on Tessie to where you are then going to have to PhD flop on the different lamps in the Museum Infinitum. Screenshot this if you need it. Anyways, simply track the lights and write down the order that you have gotten, or remember if you have good memory, have a friend or family, remember it for you or a teammate. Then head to Museum Infinitum and you need to PhD flop by each one of the candles in the exact order. So like I said, there are 4 different ones. Use the map that I showed you to help you. If you have the augment for jumping to activate the flop as well, you can wall bounce as well to activate it. You just need to get the purple explosion to activate in the 4 lanterns in that precise order. Now if you mess up the order for whatever reason, you just need to go to the next round and then retry it again, so no worry about that. Just check with the Tessie order again. Previously you had to just trial and error the order to PhD flop on each of these lanterns. After you have done this correctly, you will hear the Mr. Peak's laugh to let you know that this has unlocked the relic portal on the map. After which, you can then head over to the crash site and the red relic trial will spawn in. You can interact with it, which will start a vote in a multiplayer game, or you'll go straight in if you are within a solo match. Make sure you have adequate perks, weapons, etc. But I assume since you'll be on round 60 plus in order to do this, you will have enough. The trial will be every zombie is going to be a sprinter zombie. Now luckily here I got the special Mr. Peaks, which gave me some loot to help out with this, but that was just random luck. So yeah, there's not really anything too crazy with this challenge. Everything's going to be red. The zombies will have red eyes. On waves 3 as well as 6, you will have to just focus on killing all of the HVT mimics instead of just the regular zombies to try and hone in on them. But yeah, relatively self-explanatory. You just basically need to survive the 6 different waves. Of course, you can have golden armor, ultra rarity weapons as well in tier 2 cursed onwards, which may help out. But once you have successfully killed all of the HVTs on wave 6 and you've completed all 6 of the waves, you will then teleport back onto the map and you will have unlocked
unlocks the Civil Protector Head Relic. So if you equip this to your cursed games in the future, what it's going to do is cause perk decay, so every 100 kills you will lose a perk, so an extreme challenge. Hopefully this video has been useful in how to unlock all 15 of the relics on both maps. Of course, we are waiting now for DLC 2, Paradox Junction, where we'll get more relics and I'll have guides for them soon. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you with plenty more tutorials to come. Bye.